Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Aapna Reds podcast. We're back again this week, and thankfully, though it looked shaky at first, we're back with another Liverpool win. As always, we give you everything that you expect from a normal podcast, but with a little added chutney on top. And this week, as always, I'm joined by the lovely Anil. Anil, how are we doing?
Good, that has. You good?
All good, all good. And he seems a bit happier this week, a bit more upbeat, and I don't blame him because Liverpool managed to come away with a 3-0 win, a 3-1 win, against Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Midlands. We earmarked it as sort of a tough game, and tough game it was. Anna, what were your thoughts early doors on the game?
Oh man, when we spoke about it last time, we we weren't very confident, were we?
Yeah.
12:30 kickoffs coming down to the Midlands. I think we mentioned the record's not very good with these. What was it? Three losses, 3 draws the last
That's
6
the
12:30 kickoffs. And the first half, just literally, I was watching it thinking, oh, here we go again, man. Here we go again. They were all over us. All over us. Similar to the way they were all over United as well. And how they've been playing quite good, to be fair. And I just thought, once they got that goal, oh man, are we going to get a couple more? Are we going to come back into it? It was emotions all up in the air to start with. What do you reckon?
Well, again, same as always. I said to you, and we agreed with it last time, 12:30 kickoffs, there's just something about them. And I was terrified. As soon as the whistle blew, just didn't look right. I think from the team sheet, I saw that we mentioned last week that sort of inclusion of South American players, long haul flights, and then having McAllister in the team. And I was quite surprised to see Allison in the team, but I'm not going to complain either way. But it showed on the pitch that, you know, even though quite a few of the players that were playing hadn't been that far in international travels, they did seem a bit leggy in comparison to the Wolves team, where only a few had been on international duty. And again, it just seems to be a recurring thing at the moment that Liverpool, shaky start, and somehow, like the good old days, just come back kings again and get the result that we need.
We mentioned that a little bit. It must be difficult going away.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Even if you take out the travel, which, like I said, the South American ones are going on crazy round trips. Even the England playing Scotland, or even if you're just going down the road, there must be such a massive calm down after coming away from the international setup and then going back to your workplace. It's like going on a holiday, isn't it? Like as soon as you come back,
social groups, really, when you think about it. If you're going from one group of people that are a lot like you to people that you got different sort of environments in the club, so it clearly has an impact.
Well, yeah, look at Robbo. I mean, 3-1 defeat from England Scotland game, and he's put in a position where, well, 2 main club captains are gone. Then eventually, we'll come on to it. Eventually, he becomes captain as well. He's on the pitch. I mean, what a performance he had after what happened at the international stage against England, for him to have that performance. But yeah, all of them must have at least had some form of jet lag, even if they didn't travel much. International lag, let's call it that.
We'll just put it as that. I'm sure they could have done with the excuses after that first half performance. But we'll start with the selection. Obviously, we found out that Virgil wouldn't be playing. You're very happy about that. I'm sure you're doing giddy around the house in celebration. Obviously, found out that Trent was injured still and wouldn't be playing either. I think we sort of agreed that was going to be the case last week. What did you make about the team then, in terms of midfield and the defence, and obviously the inclusion of certain attackers as well?
Yeah, Kwanzaa, centre back. I'm looking forward to seeing this kid a lot more. Been at the club since he's 5 years old. Crazy local lad. Every time he's come on the pitch, I've been like, yeah, this is the one. This is the one that's going to be our future. So I'm very, very excited with him coming into the team and him playing. We got Matip. You never know which one's going to turn up with Matip. Sometimes he can be the most amazing defender, make Virgil van Dijk look average, and sometimes how is he even in this team? And I think at times today, that's what he did. Gomez, big fan of Gomez, went right back. Obviously, I feel for the Bajara man. He hasn't got one fixed position.
Yeah.
Always gets moved around. Expect him to be top class every time he plays because he's been there for so long. But you gotta give it to him. Going at right back, trying to fill Trent's boots. He was never going to be Trent.
No.
But as a right back, is that what his original position was? Did we buy him
Yeah,
as?
I think when he came through, it was right. But I know he played centre back when he was at
Yeah,
Charlton, but yeah, he was seemed to
yeah.
be more right back, and then
I think he mainly he came most positions he played for us as right back, but
yeah,
no, but yeah, you look at that back four. I mean, Robbo's the only one out of the four that's a mainstay. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So if you think about it, we're going away 12:30 Wolverhampton, who are playing really well, and we've really only got one of our back four.
hmm
So straight away you're thinking, all right, here we go. They're definitely going to score. I think that was the original thought, which happened like within the first 10 minutes. So that kind of prediction came right straight away. But that being said, we're Liverpool. We're
hmm
Liverpool, and we're essentially we're title challengers. We're a club that should be challenging for the title or minimum top four. So no matter who comes in, we should be saying the players we've got in our squad should be good enough to play that role. So yeah, on on the outset, you're probably a bit worried with the names that are on the sheet, but we got enough quality in the team to
yeah.
sort out the mess up that they do at the back and try and fight forward, which is what happened. Which is what happened. I mean, what are your thoughts on Kwanzaa?
I mean, I can't lie. I think it's impressive, and it seems to be that Liverpool have like a revolving door at the moment. It's a quiet one that they don't really let out quite a bit of, but it seems that behind the scenes they have some really good players that are sort of filling in to positions that we got. I mean, we saw it before when we needed centre halves. We had Reece Williams come through, even Nat Phillips. You look at midfield. You know, we had Kiravea a long time before that, and then we had the likes of Bajcetic now, and obviously Ben Doak, Kai Gordon. You know, we've got players just oozing with talent across the pitch. And it seems like I know that a lot of academies, you know, if you look at City's academy, United's academy, even Brighton's at the moment, sort of getting a lot of praise and acclaim for the players that they're bringing
Yeah,
through. But I think Liverpool at the moment are just sneakily bringing in players that just seem to be able to come in when they're asked for it. I think that's the most difficult thing. They're not phased into the team. They're just brought on to do a job, to play the game. And I think it's just a ring of fire for them to sort of play their first, you know,
yeah,
game of professional football in, and they seem to deal with it every single time. And it makes me think that it's part of the Liverpool mentality that you need to be ready. You
yeah,
know,
man.
like it seems like a Senghor mentality, just the art, the art, the art. You got to be
That's
ready
it, man.
whenever it comes to it.
100%. And you know what? I think we got, or is it the Carabao Cup or is it FA Cup coming up with Leicester soon? So EFL is
Uh,
the Carabao,
yeah,
EFL, whatever you call
Carabao,
it
yeah,
these days. So I think we're going to see a game of two halves, man. We're going to see a lot of young talent in the first half. And if they're up to it, he'll keep them on. But if they're struggling, he'll bring on the big boys, which is what he normally does. So I'm looking forward to that game, if I'm honest.
yeah,
Because we have, like you said, we got a lot of talent. And I think that's the kind of game he'll put them in the fire, see what they're like. But
yeah,
yeah, I'm massively impressed with Kwanzaa. Joe Gomez, again, talk to my mates. I always big up Gomez. I quite like him. And he's been a great servant. So with him in the team, I was happy.
yeah,
Matip basically was I suppose, the one at the back where everyone was going to be looking to. He's playing
yeah,
the Van Dijk role. And you're always, like I said, 50-50 with that one. But Robbo,
yeah.
what a player, man. What a player.
How did you feel about looking a bit forward to the front line? No Nana Nunes from the start, sat on the
Yeah.
bench. I thought that might have upset you. Saw Jota, saw Gakpo, Diaz as well, sat on the bench. What did you make of that to start with?
I think, like you said, I think it made sense, and he's putting on the players that haven't had to travel
Yeah,
massively and haven't had the games that'll probably be playing on their muscles a little bit. And
yeah,
I think he made the right decision. I think he was hoping a bit more.
yeah,
Gakpo was a bit quiet, wasn't he, to start with? I know he scored the goal, but he was very quiet. I think I was listening to is it Jemet was
yeah.
it?
Genius on comms.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it, man. Genius was mentioning that he only had about 7 touches, and that was him not looking at any stats. I think he just noticed it in, so I was like, okay, fair enough. Jota, I think you're a fan of his.
big fan.
I'm a fan of his as a super sub, not as a
Yeah,
starter. So, but him coming up against his old club, you know, you're hoping he got a few boos. You're hoping he'd probably, he had a chance early on as well. You
yeah,
could have silenced the boos quite early, but he wasn't at his best. Salah, and he look at
yeah,
that. What three assists? Well, does one count? I think one was an own goal, wasn't it?
yeah. I think one. one was a count as an own goal in the end,
Counts
so you
it.
didn't get that one.
So he didn't get that one. But I mean, if he's not scoring, he's supplying. You can't.
Yeah.
Man, he's going to be a big miss. But you know what? £250 million, whatever it is that comes out
You were
for
just
it.
thinking about the money. Typical Aapna, man. You're just thinking about the money at the end of it. Just
I'm
let the
telling
bunda
you,
play, man. Must
it's all
even
about
get
the dowry, innit?
thinking
It's all about the
about the money
dowry.
afterwards. Oh, so then we talked about the lineup. Let's talk about the early goal. Where do you put the blame then? Is it a team collective? Is it the young lads at fault? Is it the old school? Where do we go? Because for me, I just sometimes I look at our team and I just wish they'd put a foot in. And Pedro Neto just seems to dance through, walk through. Just all you need a little hook on him and he would have fallen over. Just seems to walk through, hangs a ball into the back post, and it's
What a
just
player.
goes right across the box, and somehow my head's up, Wangy chance foot and back of the net. What went wrong?
Well, we mentioned Wang anyway last pod, so our predictions are getting quite good, man.
I know. Oracles, that's what it is.
He's a player and a half, man, and
Yeah.
yeah, what he did was basically what we expected him to do. He started though, which is a shock. It's his first start, isn't it? So yeah, he's making he must be making the rounds to the gaffer's door, saying, "Listen, what more do I need to do?"
Yeah.
Um, Liverpool are frustrating. I think they've got a bit of an arrogance about them, which is we're Liverpool FC. We play really good football. Any team that we play should respect that.
Mhm.
Going away to Wolves, who are absolutely smashing it at the moment with their play, I'd want that. Listen, let's just keep it calm. 10, 15, 20 minutes. Let the crowd get a bit bored. Quiet them down. The old Fergie mentality. Remember when Fergie used to have his interviews? He used to say, look, we go to Liverpool. All I want you to do is first 15, 20 minutes, make them struggle to even get the ball, get the crowd quiet, and then we can play our game. And I think Liverpool need to do that. I think that's what they're not doing in the first half. They're literally thinking, all right, we're going to go out there, we're going to bang a few goals, and then we'll pass it about. But I don't think that's happening. I don't think they've got that mentality. Some of the play that they were doing, they were looking for balls through all the time when they could have just put a couple of passes left, right, make a bit more space. Just keep the ball. Just
Mhm.
keep the ball. Mac, he's been so good since he started,
Yeah.
but some of the passes that he made today were just literally
Yeah.
like, you know what?
Even Szoboszlai as
My Nana Nunes, my Nana could have made a pass. And it's just like, just chill out a bit, calm down a
Yeah.
bit, relax. It's a 100-minute game now. It's not even
Yeah.
90 minutes. You know what I mean? You got plenty of time to impose yourself. You've just come back from international. Your legs are probably knackered. Just chill out for a bit, pass the ball around, and get a feel for the game, get a feel for the pitch. You see what happened to Crouchy at the start when he was trying to hit the crossbar. Um, just, just get a feel for the game. And they're not doing that enough, and a lot of the games that we're playing, they are 2 half games, and I think Klopp is going in and giving them shit there at half time.
Yeah.
What are you
Maybe
lot?
he's doing the Jabir before we even need to talk about Jabir or no
He's
Jabir.
probably
Maybe that's
showing
what
the
it is.
Aapna Reds
Maybe
podcast at
that's
half
what it
time.
is. Maybe they know they're going to get Jabir afterwards and they think, oh, Hunter Kam karna pehna. Maybe
He's like,
that's what it is.
you're gonna get chipper this week. You're gonna get chipper. You ain't going for no mix, girl. But yeah, why have you did he legs it down the tunnel, doesn't he, to get to
Yeah.
the changing rooms? He's ready to blast them. I think he's famously said he doesn't want no in changing room video filming of his style
Yeah.
of what he says, and I would love to be a fly on the
Yeah.
wall. Love to be a fly
Definitely.
on the wall.
Definitely.
But yeah, it's a game of two halves, isn't it, at the moment with Liverpool. We just cannot start right.
Yeah. And what impact do you think that's going to have later on into the season when, City started slowly today, still got the goal, but obviously concede early on. I think same with the games that we've had. We sort of impose ourselves a little bit and then concede and then have to fight your way back in the games. But unfortunately, not every single game are you going to be able to fight back. So what risk do you think that poses where it seems like every other game, it's either we start fast and we score early or we concede early and have to fight our ways back?
I think Villa's game was perfect. You get that
Yeah.
early start, you stay on top of them, and then you can start playing around. Second half got a bit boring when they were just passing it around. That's what you want. You
Yeah.
want a boring end to a game, not Newcastle. Look how we played against them. We were crap first half. Today's game, we were crap first half, and they're getting into this cycle of we're very good at coming back.
Yeah.
from being down, which you don't want. You don't want that all the time. That's going to be a hard game to play every time.
Yeah.
You want them to just have a bit of stability. And yeah, it's. I think maybe is that what it is? Maybe that's what they're thinking. Should we get a couple of goals early that we can chill out? But in the process of trying to get those couple of goals, they're letting the goals in themselves.
Yeah.
I'd rather it the other way around. Chill out first, get the crowd off their back, or if it's a home game, I think that's what it is. A home game, the crowd are on our back. They're like
Yeah.
with us, and they can feed off it. But when they're going away and the crowd's on our back and the opposite way, they kind of lose themselves a little bit. Maybe that's the immaturity, you know what I mean? In terms of we've got a young squad, the older lot, they've played that many games, they don't really get affected by things like
Yeah,
that.
particularly in the midfield as well, where I think early on the game was lost really in the midfield. I think it's a big mention that their young player Bellegarde, it was like the second reckoning of Adama Traore in midfield. I couldn't believe it was just pace and power just running through, and you just couldn't stop him. And that was just, and it's a shame that Liverpool don't really have a player like that, even to bring on from the bench. Ox in his prime, sort of the first
Yeah,
season
yeah,
game, used to be
yeah.
that pace and power running from the midfield, but Liverpool seem to lack that, and you see that how much of an impact it has. He didn't score. He sort of created chances. He could have scored, but he let his presence be known. And I think sometimes, like you said, you need that in the midfield, but also need that calmness in the midfield. And I think there's just a bit of sort of erratic nature in that midfield from time to time, especially early on.
I think it's still a revolving door, isn't it, in midfield? We don't
Yeah,
quite
definitely.
know what our best midfield is.
Yeah,
Again, Thiago coming back will probably give us a bit of
yeah,
calmness. Gravenberg, when he gets up to speed, will probably be the
yeah,
player that you're on about. Maybe give us a bit of a direct attack,
yeah,
run
yeah.
past a few players. Endo didn't play. I thought he would have been perfect for a game like this.
Yeah, I think
Where
again it
we
was travel, wasn't it? Obviously, been playing sort
Today,
of.
he had a wicked game as well.
So
Isn't he man of the match?
yeah,
You
so
know what I mean?
it's
So
it's
yeah,
tough. There you go. And again, it seems that they're key departments in that midfield. That when it comes to even attack and midfield, seems to be the departments that when it is international breaks, we do lose big players in those departments. Makes it difficult. So it'd be interesting looking forward to the next international break.
I
How
don't. I
pans
don't
out.
think. I don't think. Travel. Maybe Klopp's thinking about the travel in that, but don't you think, like, the Chinese, Japanese, Eastern European players or the South American players? I don't think they themselves think jet lag exists because when they
No,
come on,
probably
they
not. Well, I
play.
mean, when we go to Punjab, you get off the plane, you're straight into doing whatever you got to do. No
Yeah,
time
man,
bendy there. You know what I mean? You've got to be
that's what
straight
I
into
mean.
it.
Straight go
Maybe
do
it's
all the
just
get it, all
everyone
the
else.
different houses, in Get on
That's
that
it. You got no
tempo, get on the
time.
scooter, man.
And,
But
and the
that's what
thing
it
is,
is. I
they're
think I
getting
don't
paid
think
a lot more.
I don't think Klopp understands that mentality. Maybe Endo
No.
would have been good to start Diaz. Diaz is just class.
Yeah,
Diaz is just
magic
next
player, I must
level.
say.
Like, every time for some reason, defenders don't go close to him. Have you seen how much space he gets on the
Yeah,
left
yeah,
hand side? But then again, that's maybe because he drops back a little bit, and then he just runs at
yeah,
them. And defenders do not like him running at them at the moment. Nunes again, he's got so much pace. The way he's running past these defenders, they don't like it.
no,
So, and Salah, when he was top of his game, he was the same from the right hand side. He just run at defenders, and they hated it. To get free players like that, that should be our first free starting, and just put defenders like under stress. Like,
mhm,
shit, we need to stay back. We
yeah,
need to stay back. We need to stop these guys from getting in the space. But with Gakpo and Jota, they're not those kind of players. And I think their defense and their midfield kind of felt like, okay, they're not really going to counter us. Let's go
mhm.
and play.
Yeah. I think that definitely showed with the way that we were struggling for the first half. It seemed every single attack, it was a man spare out on the wing, and it was, so obviously with their right back and weren't being able to track back counter attacks from them. It really could have been 3-4-0 before we got into half time. And I think we were very fortunate in parts. And again, we've mentioned sort of going into half time, Klopp's team talk, and it seemed to work in the second half when we managed to get the goal. Do you think that it was clear that there were noticeable changes? Obviously, formation changes. McAllister comes off, Diaz comes on. I think the big thing for me was Soboslai going deeper and how much influence and time he had on the ball. You could see that the ball was getting played through him, and it was just him either playing it out wide, bringing it forward, and even when it came to defending, he was there every single time, tracking back. I think that made a big impact.
Yeah, and he probably got knackered from all the running around he was doing in the first
Yeah,
half, so he wasn't quite able to do what he's normally doing. Although but he probably covered the most on the pitch anyway. But you can't knock him. I think it was more the occasion, where we were, who we were playing, how they were playing against us. Mac was the same. He looked knackered. He was
yeah.
putting in balls. And Curtis Jones, I am a fan of his, but again, I didn't see anything special from
He
him
was.
today.
To be fair, though, I think Klopp's a big fan of Curtis Jones, just doing the role of he's there, it fills a gap. Like he
Yeah,
didn't do anything worth sort of noticing, but he didn't do anything wrong
anything
either. And I
bad
think
either. That's what I
sometimes
mean. Yeah,
you need that in a midfielder. From ask them to play that game. Wijnaldum used to be the same way. You wouldn't really notice him playing, but the fact
he
that
does
he's
a
in that
lot.
midfield, putting the
Yeah,
yards in,
yeah, yeah.
Curtis Jones does put the yards in. To be
I think
fair,
that's what it is, isn't it? You put the yards in and you don't get the praise, which is what I'm doing
yeah,
now. But you kind of want the midfield to, you kind of want the midfield to have some form of
yeah,
impact. That's where it starts. You know what I mean? The defender should defend. Goalkeeper has to save shots. Midfield are the creators, and the
yeah.
forward should be putting them away. So you always expect the midfield to do something special that stands out. But it just seemed a bit flat today. Just seemed a bit flat.
Well, we end up scoring. The front three actually combined to score the goal. Jota sort of flicks the ball about in the box, gets it out to Salah, and then Gakpo finishes it off. Like you mentioned, slow game for him. Didn't really do much in the first half, but he was there in the end to get the goal. He just seems like the player that Klopp likes to have in the team, but doesn't
Yeah.
seem to be the one that we need to really propel the attack. But he gets a goal and gets hooked afterwards. What did you make of him?
Again, bit flat today. What's his best position? What do you think?
Well, this is a problem that we've got because I'd argue that he just doesn't fit in the 4-3-3 that we've got going on. I think he needs to be when we used to play the 4-2-3-1, we'd have two sitting, McAllister and Szoboszlai, sit him in there. He plays just in front because he likes to receive the ball,
Yeah, yeah,
but he's
yeah.
got the pace to turn on it and sort of move forward with it. But he needs someone either in front of him so he doesn't have to. He's not a poacher to get into the box. He was there to get the goal then, but he just wasn't bursting with pace to get into the box, as opposed to Nunes, who's just there every time, or even Jota, who just seems to be there. So
I
it's
think,
interesting.
yeah. God, I was going to say, I think we're going to benefit from when we've got the Dutch
Yeah,
backbone, and I think
very
they
true.
know each other well. They play
Yeah,
with each other regularly, and I think when he's got his teammates, his international teammates on the pitch with him, I think he might have a little bit of renewed
yeah,
confidence. There's a prediction for the future. I think he'll
yeah,
play better when Gravenberch and Van Dijk are in the team. I I thought he was going to be like a Firmino type player.
yeah. Well, the thing is, though, he isn't that. He's never really played
No,
through the middle.
no,
Obviously, in the
no.
World Cup, he came off the wing.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was
yeah.
just known as a winger, and I think when we signed him, I was quite surprised to see that we'd signed someone I thought was just an out and out winger. I never saw him in any role otherwise. But obviously, when you look at him, he's built like a centre forward. He's tall,
Yeah.
he's lean. And I think, like you said, Klopp expects him to play that Firmino role. But I think at the moment, he's caught between the two. He struggles to sort of impose himself as either in the end.
I think you know what Klopp's like. He always turns players the way he wants them to play, and they end up being good. So I think maybe he's in transition. Like, he's not going to come from the left, is he? Because he's not. He's not replacing Diaz. He's not going on
No,
the right. He's not replacing Mo. Up front in the centre is where he's probably going to get a
yeah,
chance. But again, I'd put Nunes up front over him
yeah,
at the moment. I'd pick him above Jota.
yeah,
So I'd put him second. Or if you're looking for a Diaz replacement, if he's injured or if he's not playing, then whack him on the left where he's comfortable.
yeah,
So I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go with him yet. I mean, I'm happy we poached him from Man United, but at the moment
yeah,
he's not really, on fire. He's not on
yeah.
fire. But he's
He
good.
turned
Don't
up
get me
towards the
wrong.
end of
Yeah,
last season. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he was in the last season. And he is good at holding the ball. He's good at receiving the
yeah,
ball. He's good at running. So he's got talent. He just hasn't. I suppose as a forward, you need goals, don't you?
yeah,
And unless you're scoring goals, everyone's always going to criticize you.
yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
not saying he's a bad player. I'm
No.
just saying if he wants to start regularly and become like a legend
Yeah,
as such, like Firmino was, you're going to have to put some goals away at some point, and
yeah.
important goals, and put in good performances all the time. You know what I mean?
Do you reckon the front three would benefit from it if you cast your mind back to 16, 17, that season when the front three was just interchanging. You sometimes find Salah through the middle, sometimes Mane on the right, Firmino on the left, and they would just keep moving around. Do you reckon that at some point that needs to be the model for Liverpool, especially when you think that you've got players in that front three that can play all across the front line? And I think that maybe that would stop some of the staleness that we seem to have in the attacking areas from time to time. It used to happen quite a bit. Now it seems that, I don't know if it's because the team isn't as set and sort of they obviously have their own roles on the pitch, what they need to do. But it seems that maybe if that was the case and it happened a bit more, it'd probably be beneficial for all the players across the front three.
You go through phases, don't you? You go through phases
Yeah,
where you have a front, like I said, front three that just played so much together.
yeah,
They knew what the other player was going to do without even having to wait for them to move. Where our front three is so interchangeable at the moment, they haven't got that stability.
no,
Mo Salah is the most predictable winger on the planet, but
yeah,
he's still providing. Like, I
yeah,
don't know how any team doesn't know how to play against Mo Salah, but he's that good. He still does it. So you know what he's going to do. So I suppose you can always like. That's why I think Nunes likes playing with him, because Nunes
yeah,
knows when to run, what to do, and when he's going to be, passing to Salah. And a lot of our players who look to Salah, they know what he's going to do, when he's going to
yeah,
run. So that side, yeah, I can understand him staying there and doing what he's doing because it works for the rest of the team. Diaz now is becoming that player on the left. He's becoming such a predictable player. He's getting space, but you know he's going to run at the defenders. And even though they know he's going to run at them, they can't do anything about it.
yeah,
So we've got our two wingers that are really good at the moment at doing what they do best. The one in the middle, if we can get one that connects with them two, I genuinely think it's going to be Nunes. Nunes at the moment just isn't firing, is he? In terms of, I
yeah,
know he scored the goals against Newcastle and absolutely smashed it, and I thought that was going to be the start to something, but it just, I don't know what it is, man. He's like a kutta with a ball. You know what I mean? You know, like when you're playing in the garden. I don't know if you got a dog. I've got a dog, man. You play football with the dog, and the dog just literally runs at the ball. He's
yeah,
always going to get the ball.
yeah,
He'll always run away from you with the ball. You can't get the ball off him. But he's never going to do with the ball what you want him to do.
yeah,
He's that kind of player. So maybe, I don't know. Kutta Nunes, that's a bit harsh, isn't it?
yeah. That's a bit. I think that's a bit much. To be honest with you, you can't go from Nana Nunes, Santa Nunes to Kuta Nunes in a week.
Yeah, that's a bit harsh. But I love my dogs. I love my dogs. That's a compliment. So anyone watching later, if they're thinking I'm dissing him, no, it's a compliment. But we need him to click, don't we? Or we need one player
Yeah.
to click.
I think a lot of the things like you see today, he has that chance where it falls to him. It's the sort of things that are based on instinct. Firmino used to do it well, where ball used to fall to his feet, and you knew, like in that instance, he just has to chip the goalie. You know, you're not going to force it under him. But it's that split second where if you're comfortable in the position, comfortable in the team, comfortable in yourself, it just clicks and automatically you do that. Firmino used to do it. Obviously, Mane used to do the same thing where once they were comfortable, they could just finish without even thinking about it. And I think a lot of it is he isn't entirely comfortable. And it's just those split second reactions where from the videos that I saw from when I watched him in Benfica, he was just that game he played against us. It was everything was just electric. He knew what he was doing.
No.
You know, never a second thought to take a shot. But it seems that sometimes he's slowly getting there, like you said. But I think it'll take
What it is,
time.
he hasn't got composure, and I don't know how you
Yeah,
can teach composure. Firmino, look at the amount of times you put defenders on their asses
yeah,
just by pulling it back a little bit, or just having a drop of the shoulder, making the keeper
yeah,
move the wrong way. He always knew. These Brazilian players always know how to just make one slight little movement, and the defender or the goalkeeper just gone completely the opposite
yeah,
way. Nunes hasn't got composure, and I think he needs to take some sort of advice off Suarez, because
yeah.
Suarez was brilliant at that, man.
Exactly what I was thinking is Suarez. You know, well, he
So
mentioned that he'd spoken to Bielsa and people like that. So it'd be interesting to see because Suarez again, he just used to know how to finish. If it was a little toe poke, if it was just seemed to be like second nature to him. And I think again that just came from confidence and ability. And I think once he's settled, I think I'm glad that people are off his back a bit now. The media are sort of focused elsewhere now, and there's not really that sort of hype about Nunes and sort of the commentary on him and what he's doing. He's no longer Don Nunes or Donkey Nunes. He's Nunes now, and people just expect whatever happens.
And because we got like you said, because we got so many new signings coming in, they're getting highlighted, which hopefully will be in his favour. But then scoring those 2 bangers against Newcastle, putting back at the top of the headlines, and you're thinking, oh, here we go again. But at least it was positive this time.
Yeah,
but well, hopefully, man. It's early doors. 5 games. We can't act like this is the end of the season. And if he's doing this, 15 games into the season and he's still missing goals, then we got issues.
I just still can't get over Don Nunes, man. That was just that was peak again.
In a positive way, man. In a positive way.
We'll see if he takes it in a positive way.
That's my dog's here with me, man. He's like my family. When I talk about dogs, I'm talking like a family. You know what I mean? Nunes, all respect, Budgie.
Yeah. Well, Budgie was great when he came on, and another man that wasn't just great when he came on, but also great from the get-go was Andy Robertson, the man that goes and puts us 2-1 up. We spoke about him. I think he's another one that's been victim of his own success in the past few years. He's another one who doesn't seem to have the confidence, but he picks up the ball, plays it out wide, and he continues run and gets the goal. And on his 200th appearance for us to score, I think it just caps everything off. And I think he just sometimes I wish he'd do it a bit more. We saw it in his first season when he was sort of fighting the runs into the box and he'd get in and around the goal.
You're going negative on him, Taz.
I'm not going negative. No. Just saying, I just wish he'd do it a bit more. It's just a shame that we know he's got the ability. We know he's got everything there. It's just sometimes he gets to the edge of the box and goes, you know what, Rende, I'm going to turn around and pass it backwards. When he's got that ability and confidence, which he had, a season, 2 seasons ago. But I think, again, it comes down to the fact that we mentioned before. He's now had to be the sitting fullback as opposed to it being on the other flank. You know what I mean? He's had to sacrifice himself a bit. But he sacrificed himself.
Let me break it down for you. Our most consistent player over the last however many games we've played with him in the team, he is always 100% committed. Yeah, he makes mistakes, but he is 100% always going to give it his everything. And the assist side of his game, yes, has gone down. However, it's very difficult now we've got the kind of players that we've got. I don't think it, obviously without like making it sound like I'm saying he's coming towards the end of his career, nowhere near, but he's coming towards like the latter stages of his career where he can't bomb up and down like he used to. He probably has, he's won everything.
Yeah.
Like the brain's probably saying to him, listen, if you want to stay in this team, don't go charging down. You're probably going to pull a cramp or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't blame him for not having as many assists as he used to have. That season with him and Trent were just blasting assists left, right, and centre. That was an anomaly, man. It doesn't happen. Isn't he already all-time top left back assist?
Yeah, assists, yeah.
And he's still playing at the top of his game. He's going to set a record that is going to stand for years to come. Left backs just don't do what he does. He doesn't get the credit that he deserves. He is a Liverpool legend, one of the best left backs the Premiership's ever seen. I don't think he's done anything wrong. Today's game just proves, after losing 3-1 as a captain of Scotland and making a mistake, he's come back and done a man of the match performance. Just shows you the kind of player he is. 100%, nothing bad to say about that man. He is, like I said, consistent. Mr. Consistent.
Mr. Consistent.
What's the Punjabi for consistent? I don't even know.
Bas Jalli Janda, that's probably about it. Mr. Bas Jalli Janda. That'll do the job. Maybe it's a captain's armband. Trent had a game of the week before. Maybe it gives you extra shakti. It just probably doesn't work on Van Dijk as a problem.
Well, look at it. It was Mo Salah first, wasn't it? You had the captain's armband? Yeah, Mo Salah put in like...
No, Robbo had it from the get-go.
Did he?
Yeah.
Didn't Salah give it to him when he went off?
No. He had it from the get-go.
I thought Mo was number 3.
No, I'm sure it's Robbo.
Oh, man. I must have missed that then.
Either
I
way,
only
he had
saw,
the Shakti and he got the job done.
yeah,
So I
well,
can't
yeah,
complain whether
exactly,
he had
man.
it on or not.
What a little run though, innit? It's one of those runs
Yeah.
where the defenders just think, nah, he ain't
No,
gonna
he's
get the
not.
ball.
And that's
He ain't
why
gonna get the
it's
ball.
just because if he did that more, he has the opportunity to do it. It's just a more lethal thing. There's times where we know he can do it. Like it used to annoy me when Alberto Moreno used to do it because he couldn't do it and he used to run and just be like, "What are you doing?" But Robbo can do it where he can get in and he'll just play the pass across or he'll get the finish away.
Yeah, I
Sometimes.
tell you what, it probably worked today because it was on the right hand side. So
Yeah, very true.
Wolves team talk and defense might have been their
Yeah,
left-sided player, right-sided player. Sorry, must have had it in their head. If Robbo comes down the wing, it's
yeah,
your man.
yeah,
But because he came to the right, that person was like out of the frame, and
yeah,
the left-hand sided defenders were probably thinking, "Hang on, I've got Salah now. Robbo's here. Who's got Robbo?" So it must have confused them. So maybe this is why when Trent and Robbo
yeah,
used to switch over, he used to confuse the hell out of the team, and they used to
yeah,
get so much success. And like you said earlier, maybe that's what the front three need to do, and that's
yeah,
what the midfielders need to do: cross over, make the defenders
yeah.
cross-eyed and not know what's going on. Is your judgy? I don't know what's going on.
That's the one. Maybe that's what it's got to be. So we get 2-1 up, and then we make him even more cross-eyed when Nana Nunes takes the ball down. I must say, he did his job well holding up the ball against big Craig Dawson, who is just always seems to put in a good performance against us.
Yeah, man.
Thankfully today it wasn't his best, but yeah, he holds the ball up against him, plays the ball through to Salah. Doesn't really get it off first time, but Harvey Elliott comes along, little noodle head, and manages to get the ball pass. Heavy deflection, I think some would say, but gets a goal, 3-1. What do you make of it then in the end? 3-1, Harvey Elliott goal.
Super sub, isn't it? Super sub.
Go on.
Klopp's doing it at the moment. Every time he brings some substitutions on, they just change the game. And
Yeah,
he played well. He does play well on the right hand side. I do like him on the right. He comes inside, plays well with Salah as well. The little interchanges. Likes getting forward this year, doesn't he?
yeah,
I've noticed he likes to get a few shots off this season, where I think that was missing from his game before.
yeah.
So I think he'll probably get into. Ooh, am I gonna make a Am I going to make a prediction here? Is he going to
Oh,
get into double figures this season?
steady on, steady
Oh,
on.
oh. I think he wants to. I think he wants to bring that to his game, and I think he's got the
Yeah.
ability. He has got a good shot on him. Yeah, you know what? That's
Well, I think he's becoming a lot
that's a
more
prediction and a
defined
half
now.
in it. Double figures for.
Yeah. I think he's becoming a lot
Whoa.
more defined as a midfielder now, which I think
Yeah, yeah,
helps him a lot more. Like, I think we talked about it before that he doesn't know his own position. Obviously, you know that you're not going to be a right winger. You don't prefer being off the left, so you can't really play through the middle. So it's going to have to be midfield. And I think he feels a lot more comfortable in that.
yeah.
He's played well sitting in deep, and like you said, playing on the right and coming in from that side as well. He's played really well.
He's
And
like a
like you
little
said,
pit bull.
super
Isn't he?
subs.
He's like a little pit
Yeah,
bull. We keep going on the
gets
dog
the job done.
references this one, man. But he's
Yeah,
like
I
a little
know.
pit bull. He runs around. He's rugged. He loves getting
Yeah,
a tackle in. I think that's what Klopp loves about him as well. You seen the way he hugged him at the end, like proper lifted him off
yeah.
his feet and gave him like a proper, mama hug, man. Like, yo,
Well,
that's
hopefully
what it's all
Richie
about,
Mama don't ban Harvey Elliott then, because that's the last thing we need is Richie Mama banning him.
man. You know what? Don't get me started on banning dog breeds, man. You know what? It's the people, not the dogs. Anyway, that's enough on that.
It's gonna be the
But yeah,
Kutta Khani podcast by the end of this
I'm-
one.
I think Rishi Sunak to listen. Yeah, yeah.
well, Rishi is here for a great one. Liverpool 3-1 win, and he can be here for Mixie Man of the Match as well. And Jabir or no Jabir. We'll start with that one first. Jabir or no Jabir. After the first half, I think we all know the answer of what it's going to be. But at the end of the game, what do you have to say? Jabir or no Jabir this week?
I think it's always hard giving it to Beard, isn't it? Once the team's won,
Yeah,
it's a bit hard, isn't it? You can't. It's like when do you get Jabir? When all the cousins get together and one of the uncles or auntie, you know what I mean? They give one of the kids a Jabir because they've been messing about. But can you really give one of them a Jabir if they've made up at the end and they're having a good time?
yeah.
It's a bit harsh, isn't it? It's about
It's
like giving a Jabir and saying you messed up an hour ago. I'm giving you a Jabir now.
It
So
never stopped my mom or dad, to be honest with you.
true. If I was going to give one first half, uh, it sounds harsh, innit? I'd probably go Gakpo,
Really?
but I don't want to give him one. I don't want to
Yeah.
give him one. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to stay neutral this week, man. I'm not going to give it
You're
to
gonna keep your
anyone.
hands behind your back.
That's it, man. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you. You tell me your opinion. I'm not going to give it to anyone this week.
I can't lie. I think I might have given Jota one, to be fair. I think he played well. Obviously, he's not up to his normal standards like we talked about. But I think that he just seemed a bit, I don't know, a bit flat. I think McAllister probably will get a little one as well. I might sit
I
them
think he
down
got one half
together.
time. I think he
Yeah,
got
I
one
think
half
he
time.
definitely he sat down on the bench and he did not look happy whatsoever.
Mm.
I think Jota just needs a little one, not a big one, just a little tap on the cheek to remind him, like, come on, cut the ass out, you know what I mean? But yeah, McAllister definitely had one at half time. But like you said, it seems harsh to be giving him beard when they've come back, beat
Yeah.
Wolves, got 3 points, and made sure that Liverpool are still at the top of the table, even with City and Tottenham winning as well.
Yeah.
So what about Mixie, man of the match then? Who's coming for a bit of scram with us this week then?
We'll go for a bit of haggis this week. You know what I mean? I know we got the official man of the match, but yeah, man, he was top draw today.
Andy
If it
Robbo.
wasn't him, so I mean, obviously my mixing man of the match goes to Robbo. You know,
Yeah.
200 games, captain, scored a goal, great defending. So you got to give it to him. If it wasn't him, I'm trying to think. I'm gonna give it to the man at the back, Kwanzaa. I'd take him. I'd love taking him for
Wow.
man. You know what? First full start, played
Yeah.
amazing. Obviously, what 19, 20? How old is he? He's
Yeah, it's young lad.
Yeah. So coming on against Wolves away from home, first full
Yeah.
game. He was probably our best player first half.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Saying something.
that's saying something, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's for me. It's got to be Robbo, man. It's got to be a bit of mixed haggis this week.
I think for me, we might have to rethink about where we're going to go for a mixed grill because I think we have to take Salah with us because, you know, two and a half assists, we'll call it. You know, the man with the most goal contributions in consecutive games. It says something, and it's cruel sometimes that we miss him out when he just plays out of his skin and he creates the goal. So I think we might have to find a halal joint for him and make sure there's no shalab. Yeah, no shalab either. So we'll have to find a place for him to go. Might be Alum Rock somewhere. I think, yeah, Salah and Robbo is definitely a good shout.
You know what, man? You know, I'll give you that one, man. Salah. I think he plays so well so often. We just kind of ignore the fact that he's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of them ones. He's just, again, two of our main mixy man of the matches today are players that just always do what they do. And we're just not giving them enough praise for it. But yeah, I'm happy with those two.
Good. That's what we like to hear. Nice to know we've put the food in now. You start Googling the places that we have to take them now. So it's serves haggis, halal, and no sharab. I'll leave that to you to find out where we're going. But we'll look forward now to midweek competition returns. Not us in the Champions League, not playing on a Tuesday or a Wednesday this time, but on a Thursday instead. We've got Lask as our first game, and I think it's an early kickoff as well, which is going to be interesting. I think it's 5:30 kickoff or something like that. So
are they a football team or are they a laser eye surgery company?
They might double us both. You never know. Versatility.
Yeah,
you won't be saying that when they end up beating us now. This is going to come back to you. Gutar Nunes and now Lask the laser eye surgery. It's game over.
I looked at doing it once. I'm sure it's LASIK or LASIK, but yeah, it sounds very similar to Lask.
Yeah. What do you make of the Thursday football then? Obviously, it means that limits the amount of Saturday 12 o'clocks that we have in, but also limits the amount of recovery days that you'd get if you were playing on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. What impact do you think that's going to have on the squad going throughout the season?
Well, listen, let's go with the competition first. Obviously, it's not Champions League. We're not going to be playing these big, massive European teams that we're all familiar with. We are going to be playing against teams like Lask, who I didn't even know existed until they came out of that bowl. I'm happy. I genuinely am happy that we're having this opportunity. One, to still be in Europe. Two, to play teams that aren't going to be anywhere on our level. Hoping, fingers crossed. I've said that now. You know what I mean? I don't want to get battered 7-0 by Lask. But I'm sure Klopp's going to do similar to what the EFL Cup is going to do. He's going to try. He's going to try players, give them that experience, playing away from home, hostile environments, build up that confidence. So when they come back to the Premiership, it's going to be, a lot easier to handle that kind of pressure. So I'm happy in that sense. We've not got a team that are gelling at the moment, so we can't be. We come up against Real Madrid, Man City, all the Milans, these kind of teams. They're gonna expose us.
Yeah.
So that's not going to be good to be in the Champions League. So I'm happy that we're in the Europa. Is it Europa?
Yeah, Europa.
It's
Yeah.
still called Europa, isn't it? They haven't changed the name.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy we're still in the Europa, but it still gives us that extra game midweek to watch. I love having that extra game to watch. And you know what? It's a cup at the end of the day. We win
Yeah.
if
The one
if
trophy
we
that
go for it. We try
Jurgen
and win for
hasn't
it.
won either. To complete the set is one missing trophy
Europa, yeah.
written
Well,
in the stars.
I don't think he's got it on his bucket list of things he wants to do, but I'm sure he'll be happy. Oh man, I hated it when he made that comment. Book the hotels. Oh, shit, man, you're giving yourself a bit of. I hope he keeps a bit of a calm demeanor this time, saying, "Look, man, it's a
Yeah.
competition where we can win, we should win. There are some good teams in there, but they're not teams that we can't beat." So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Again, the teams that we're playing haven't got a clue what they're about. So,
You're
what
gonna have
can
to
I
start
say?
googling when you Google the mixed grill place. You're gonna have to Google the teams as
I
well.
tried it, man. I looked at it. I tried Googling it, and I just seen they won their last game 3-1. I thought, okay, fair enough. They might give us a bit of a challenge. But then I looked at the team they're playing, and I thought, who the hell are they?
Oh god.
But yeah.
No disrespect intended. Same with the dark comments. No disrespect intended. Otherwise,
Listen,
laughing stock by the
we're
end
the
of this week.
Rottweilers, man. We're going up against
Yeah.
the Chihuahuas. What do you expect? But you never know, man. The little Chihuahua might just grab hold of your nuts in it and take a
Yeah.
big chunk out. So you never know. You never know.
So you mentioned there sort of the rotated lineup. Do you expect to see any of the big hitters then this week? Bearing in mind we look ahead to West Ham, also playing well up at the top of the table alongside us. Played City this week, gave them a bit of a scare early on. So what do you think? Do you reckon the big guns sit out this week?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see a couple of rests. I can see a couple of rests there. The thing with Salah is, I think because he wants to play all the time and get closer to the goal records, he always seems to put him in. And I think that's maybe an understanding between them. Like, look, listen, if I'm fit, play me.
Yeah.
But I would like to see him rested.
Yeah.
Keep him 100% for every Premiership game we've got. Give him a bit of rest. Give him time to just play someone else in that position. Because if he is going next summer, we need to start thinking about who can play there and what kind of replacement have we got. Give the new lads a rest as well. Flipping out, man. Mac and Soboslai,
Yeah.
they have been
Non-stop
run
for
ragged.
Yeah.
They've been run ragged. Give him a rest. Give him a rest.
Yeah.
We've got enough players now. I think Thiago's back, isn't he?
I'm not too sure. I think Bacetic is back as well, so that'd be good.
Again, with him, I wouldn't put him straight back in. Maybe bring him on as sub. Gravenberch can start. Endo can start.
Yeah.
Curtis Jones, if Thiago's back, they can start. That's not a bad midfield.
Yeah.
Give Nunes a start. I'd give Diaz a rest as well because he's run ragged as well. So
I think we might see
I'm expecting big changes, but
yeah.
just never know, innit? Maybe Klopp's thinking, you know what, this is my last few seasons. Let's just go full force every single competition, put the first team out. You don't know, but he does normally like to chop and change. So I'm expecting chop and change.
So look ahead a bit more then, past the Europa League to West Ham next week. And obviously, West Ham been really good this season. There's a few players that we know are bound to cause a bit of damage. What are you feeling about that? Because for me, obviously seeing the game today, they do cause a bit of fuss. And I know that for Liverpool, we can struggle, one, from set pieces and the big plays that they got, but also conceding early on as well. So I think there's a bit of concern on a Sunday afternoon. Not as bad as the 12:30 kickoff, but I think, we need to make sure that everyone comes out unscathed on Thursday and that we're fully prepared for Sunday. What do you reckon?
What's that? Sunday afternoon record's not too bad, is it? We normally tend to play well.
No, it's whether we're on TV or not. Sunday 2:00 kickoffs, notoriously, you might not make it onto the TV.
Are we on TV?
Not too sure. We'll have to find out. It should be, but you never know with the TV
West Ham should be on a Sunday,
days.
Super Sunday double event. If not, we'll have to find some dodgy link.
No, we don't want to get found out for that.
It's Anfield though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Anfield. It should be not an easy win, but it should be a win.
Yeah.
But they are playing well, and I think they're going to come out the same way they came out against City.
Mhm.
Ward-Prowse is just
Yeah.
next level at the
Great
moment, isn't
player.
he?
Great player.
But I do think we're something else at Anfield. We are something else. We've got a good record, generally a good record against them.
Yeah.
I think Moisey as well. I think Klopp's got a good record against Moisey. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's pretty good. They are the kind of team that are looking to push those, top positions. They're playing like that, and they always tend to play well, don't they? Start the
Yeah.
season, so it's going to be a tough one. It's not going to be easy, but I do expect
Yeah.
a Liverpool win. I do expect a Liverpool win.
I think we've seen this season that the traditional teams considered as top six are struggling against the challenges around the outside. Obviously,
Yeah.
today that Man United lose to Brighton, just had to get that in there and let people know.
So,
But we know that
what
these
was it? What was
teams,
the score? What was
I
the
think it
score?
was 3-1. I can't remember. It might have been 3-1 to start that.
Disallowed goal for their new man as well, something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. Yeah, it was a tough day in the office. But
Yeah.
can't complain, can we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
top of the
but we've
papers, aren't
seen.
it? They
Yeah,
make news of they make news stories of always. They never
very
even make the
true.
back page. I'll
Very
make the
true.
front page.
We just got to be thankful that we're not in that place again
Um,
because I
Enjoy
do
it
not
while
want
you
to be
can,
there.
innit? Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah,
Enjoy it
that's
while you
that's the
can.
thing. I think we've learned that now because
Yeah.
we've seen the dark days in the past season
But
or
you're
so.
right, though. You know what I mean? Like Chelsea struggling, Man
Yeah,
United struggling, Newcastle. All right, they won, but they're not flying like they were
no,
last
last
season.
season. Yeah,
So yeah, you're right. Tottenham got lucky, didn't they? Didn't they get two
yeah,
late goals as well?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
And again,
traditional
against
top
that
six.
was against Sheffield United as well. If you
I
think
know,
the
I know.
teams like Brentford have been putting up good games, Bournemouth even had us struggling, and they obviously played Chelsea. So it's really competitive, which means that you can't not put in a full 100%, not put out the best team, and not be fully ready
Exactly.
for these
Yeah.
fixtures as well, which I think means a big thing when these international fixtures are in play, and obviously European competitions as well. So it'd be interesting to see how we navigate the next two fixtures.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one, but we'll see. We'll see.
Any score predictions? Should we get
Go on
them
then.
out of
Go
the
on then.
way? I was close this week. I had it nailed. I did say Wolves would score first and we'd come
Yeah.
back. So I'd say that the score was a bit off, but
What did I say?
I
Did I say 3-2 or 4?
you
4-3?
said like a 4-3 or something like
Oh,
absolute
okay.
goal
Yeah.
fest. It was closer to being 4-3 to Wolves after the first half. So
True. True.
count you
Go on
maybe
then.
you're on
What
something
we
there.
predicted midweek? Are we predicting West Ham?
We'll predict West Ham.
Okay.
We'll leave Lask because I think I don't want to know what disrespect you're going to put on their name. To be honest with
Mhm.
you, but West Ham, what are you feeling?
They're good. They can score, and our defense is dodgy. So I think they'll score 2. But I think it's Anfield, and we'll smash them. So 4-2.
4-2. Wow, your goals galore. I'm going to be a bit more conservative and concerned this week, and I think
Go
I'm
on.
going to go with a 2-2 draw. Yeah.
Ooh.
Again,
Okay.
I think it'll be a West Ham early goal. I think
Okay.
Liverpool will score 2. I think West Ham will end up equalising. I think James Ward-Prowse is
Ooh.
going to
Okay.
be involved in
Okay.
both goals. So we'll
Wow.
go ultra specific. You never know. If it comes
Yeah,
back, I
fair
might have
enough.
to start becoming a gambling man, but we'll have to
Yeah, yeah.
find out.
No, fair play. Fair play. We'll see. We'll see.
Happy with this week then, Kushia Honor?
Yes, yes, very relieved, especially after that first half. Relieved.
Well,
But
hopefully
yeah,
we're equally as relieved, equally as happy next week when
that just sounds
hopefully.
dodgy, man. That just sounds dodgy.
And your Qatar comments earlier weren't as bad. Maybe it's just been this podcast.
Yeah,
But
listen,
yeah,
I'm gonna have my dog with me on the next podcast, man. He's gonna have a thing with
is
teeth to
that
say
just
about your
Nunez's face
negativity.
plastered on him, or what is it?
That's it. What's
Nunez
that?
mask. Is it going to be a Nunez mask and put on the Qatar and bring him in?
Nah, he looked better than all the Liverpool players, trust me.
Well, we won't wish you to be equally relieved or excited next week. Then we'll just wish that you come back. But hopefully you're back when Liverpool again get a good result, and hopefully we don't
Right.
lose midweek either. Thank you very much, Anil, for this week as
And you
always,
as well,
and
Jazz.
thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you again next time for another edition of the Aapna Reds podcast. See you later.
See you later, guys.